Law Yao Hua knows how to play two roles well, the role of a scientist and a journalist, which makes him an extraordinary science journalist. The insect ecologist who has a PhD in entomology from the University of California, Davis, is the co-founder of Macaranga, a Malaysian environmental journalism portal. He believes the coinciding point for both roles is that there is a thirst for discovery, as well as holding power accountable. At this instance, his responsibility is to hold his microscope on science policies, scientific institutes, and ministries.
If we say follow the money, science journalists will have to follow the money of research funds too. So I would say for the society, a science journalist would play several roles to inform, to educate, but also to watch out for the community, the society's benefits, interests, public interests, by making sure that either the policies or the resources invested into science are properly monitored.
Named after a tropical tree found commonly in Malaysia that recolonizes disturbed forest areas, Macaranga.org specializes in-depth Malaysian environmental reports. Although its readership remains small, Macaranga's news has made waves locally and internationally since its inception in 2019. In 2020, Law received a Pulitzer Center grant for Macaranga to report on deforestation dynamics in Malaysia. The 39-year-old has also won the Syed Zahari Young Journalist Award 2022 just last month for an article he wrote about deforestation. Law's career now is basically a profession on his passion. He has had an innate interest in nature and science since he was very young. Though he was a city boy, he enjoyed trips that entailed mountain climbing, lake visits, and overnight camping. Even when he was at home, his hobby was stalking insects and birds in his family's garden, or binge-watching documentaries depicting wildlife and ecology. It was this interest that spurred Law to pursue a Bachelor of Environmental Biology in McGill University in Canada, before earning a PhD in the US. At the end of his study, despite being given a much-coveted 4-year postdoctoral grant in the United States, he decided to return to his native home. Law says he has never had any plan to stay in a foreign country permanently. Law landed a job teaching entomology at University Putra, Malaysia, but by the 3rd year, he found himself disillusioned by the Malaysian education system.
It was the norm for me at the time during my years overseas to strike up conversations on research, whether it is if I bump into a professor or a graduate student or even an undergraduate student on at the canteen or just beside the park, even we would start talking about our research, and then it was so easy to then dive into what the papers we were reading and what kind of methods we could use to pursue or to test our hypothesis.
One of the things that Law did not get used to in the local science research scene is how it is a norm for seniors to take credit for the work they barely executed. But Law missed being a lecturer to his students. He said that journalism had felt less fulfilling compared to teaching due to the absence of face-to-face interactions with the audience.
The most difficult part of leaving the academia was that I would be giving up the opportunity to teach my students in a classroom setting, in a lecture hall setting.
Despite this, Law does not discount that news articles are also a powerful form of education, as he recognized that the act of educating someone is not confined to a classroom setting. He now runs Macaranga with another fellow professional, Wong Siu Lin, who has been producing media content on the environment and sustainability for over 30 years. Initially, Law gave himself a 3-year time frame for his current job to earn as much as he did as a lecturer. Though the financial goal was never reached, he somehow found the motivation to continue this course. Law said he always practices a strict no-gift policy with his sources to protect the integrity and independence of his reporting without owing a debt of gratitude.
Just to be clear, this will not affect how I report. And they will always, of course, they understand and say, yes, of course, I'm not trying to bribe you. In fact, some of them will outright say, I'm not trying to bribe you, just, this is how our culture is. And there have been times when I would pay back in kind or in cash.
Law shares that his ambition is to build a network of science reporters and strengthen science journalism in Malaysia, which is lacking. He says that there are plenty of grants available and opportunities for people to follow in his footsteps. He believes with the emergence of more science reporters, there is hope for improvement in the monitoring of work done by research organizations for the public.
The real changes could start from the ground, but eventually it has to make a change in the parliament and in our laws. Reporting will educate the public and eventually lead to changes, good changes, positive changes in the law. Yeah.